Good evening, all, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis, and with me tonight I have Stu Wally. First of all, I wanna talk about some breaking news that came out. This is the latest news. We have Manchester United are in negotiations with Wolves to sign João Gomes in a deal worth around 44 millions. There's optimism between the parties that the transfer will be completed by the turn of the year. So we talked the Gomez deal to death. So I'm just mentioning it in the beginning for you guys. So I will give you the latest news. This also came up in the mitten. Elliott Anderson is absolutely the player Man United want. So again, we are strongly linked to Elliott Anderson, but it won't happen in January. But on the most interesting front of the news today, this came out. Man United are one of the clubs keeping tabs on the situation of none other than James Garner, the ex-Man United player, the academy player who came from us, sold to Everton for 50 million, and his contract is expiring at the end of the season. This comes from Alex Crook. So it will be interesting to see what will go on in the January transfer window. We need reinforcement in the midfield. But guys, in the show today, we are going to talk about Man United. We are going to have the serious discussion, the aftermath after the Everton loss. We are going to debate on Rúben Amorim. Why can't we break down a low block, and why do we seem to struggle to win games when we have the majority of the possession? So it will be interesting. I'm interested hearing Stu's thoughts about it and your thoughts about it. So get your comments in, smash the like, subscribe if this is your first time on the Tactical Devils, and we will see you after the intro. Boom, boom, boom. The Tactical Devils are live Tuesday, 7 p.m. or 7:10 p.m. We are trying out this new segment, going a little bit earlier for you guys and for the guys around the world. You know, not everybody is on UK or European time. Stu, how you been, my friend?
Well, interesting day. Been really busy today. Went to football and knackered my ankle. So injured, pal, in a nutshell. So I won't be playing tomorrow night, and I could be out for the weekend. Right. So I'm not overly chuffed. A slight roll in the ankle, and at my age, pal, they don't you don't recover in 2 days like you used to. So yeah, I could be out for a week or two. The swelling is quite swelling. So as I'm sitting up, I've got an ice pack around my ankle. So my ankle is freezing, but because all the blood's draining down to it, it's fucking hurting like mad. So I'm going to put a bit of heat on it a bit later and get it elevated as well. So, but nothing stops me being here, pal. You know that.
I know.
Have I recovered over last night? Not really. You know, I've seen bits and pieces of playback again today, and I'm like fucking livid. Still, I'm not happy. And it's a multitude of things. It's Amarim, it's the players. We deserve better. Mentioned that we criticised Ten Hag for playing some players in out of position. Amarim's doing the same. I looked at Everton yesterday. I looked at the team and I didn't think there's any way we could lose. And then I saw Everton play football to a certain way, the way that the manager wanted, the way that that Moyes demanded, and the players buy into it, and they just were better than us on the night. 10 men going away from home. I've always said to you, haven't I? I love going away from home, beating people on their own turf. It's fucking brilliant. Winding up the opposition, winding up the opposition fans. But they did number on us with 10 men, an absolute number on us. You can have as much possession. I know you want to talk about it. As much as you like. If you don't do anything with it, it's pointless. So
It's true. It's true. Possession, never wins you game. It's usually the other way around, because then you can sit back, you can just relax, you can absorb the opposition's attack, and you can counter with full strength, because you get a little bit of rest when you sit in that low block. But it's not only low block; it's about controlling games. And for me, I see problems with this Man United team. We can't control games. There's many factors that comes into this. It's about how we play out from the back. It's about the system. It's about the mobility of especially our two central midfielders, Casemiro and Bruno. We could clearly see yesterday how we struggle in the midfield area, but it's also because of the wing backs, the mobility, their inability to cross, and the strikers' ability to actually be the link up and being the threats in behind, and then binding up those two centre backs. So this multi-level complexity on the Rúben Amorim system, and so much things needs to change for this to be better. And I think from now, Rúben Amorim's obsession with this 3-4-2-1 system is actually hindering him, because I think we have good players, but we are not using them for the best of their abilities. I see a lot of these players struggle. We could see yesterday one of the most things that irritated me the most, and as I said to Levani on Nuruddin's show yesterday, I could tell you this for free a week ago: you should never play Ahmad in a 10, because him with his back against the goal, useless. He can't receive. He's not press resistive. He's good on the ball, but he needs the ball in front of him. He needs the space in front of him to thrive. That's why the only viable solution when it comes to Ahmad is to play him as right wing back, as I see it. What's your take when it comes to Ahmad, for example?
He's a real conundrum for us, to be honest. There's been certain periods of Manchester United career where he's carried the team on his back, young shoulders. We can talk about Liverpool and Manchester City last season, where he literally carried the team on his back. This year, he's not stepped up. He's not made the progression that we need. I don't like to left footers on the right. You know that. I just don't. I agree with you. I think a wing back is his best position.
Yeah,
and I think we've got better wing backs in the team. Certainly, I made my point about Leacher at left wing back. You made your point about Luke Shaw at left wing back.
Yeah,
we've made that. There's interestingly enough, I brought up 2 years ago. Maybe try Leacher in the 6, and now all of a sudden we all want to try Leacher in the 6. I don't know what we're thinking. I saw a lot of groups last night saying, "Oh, you got to put Shea Lacey on. Put Shea Lacey on for what? Why? You're going to ruin a player." Amarim's come out and said that Chido Obi, suffered last season because of the team that he was coming into, and that's why we haven't seen him again this season. We are so woefully under-equipped, Jarvis. It's saddening. But what really annoys me the most is, and I agree with you, it's Amarim has got to look at this system and decide what he wants to do with it. But if the players, are playing for the greatest football club on the planet, and I just cannot understand why these players cannot work in the system. What it is they don't like, what they don't like about the system, what is bothering them about the system, and why can't they adapt to this? You're talking international footballers.
Good question.
International footballers. Whoever we are, you're talking. Supposedly the best in their positions. In the Premier League and in in their country's ability. The issue for me is that either they don't want to do it, and they're banking on Ineos changing their mind and removing Amarim, but then they win again. These players always seem to win. And somewhere along the line, it's got to stop. It just has to stop. We can't keep allowing these players to dictate what they want to do, rather than. Amarim's come out and said The guys on the left side didn't do what I wanted them to do. I told them what to do, they didn't do it. And that should never come out of a coach's mouth. The players should be continuously looking at it.
I love thinking like that, and I understand where you're coming from, what you're saying. Amorim's instructions is not for the players to come out and do a half-assed job on the pitch, 100%. But at the end of the day, I'm a leader myself.
Yeah,
not the same. I can't compare. It's not comparable, but the responsibility always lies with me. And I think we have to keep the same energy when it comes to Amarim. The responsibility to get the players ready, to get them acting, to come on the pitch, to perform. That's on Amarim. We can't give him the argument. Amarim didn't go out and say you have to do a half-assed job. It's on Amarim to get him prepared, to get him ready for game. When it's game time, when the referee blows that whistle, the game starts. They should be at 100%. Not 99, not 97, not 93, not 85. And he have had 1 year in the job now, so he knows these players. He knows their personalities, how to trigger them, how to get them going. So he can't just sit back and blame everybody else. It's on him. I'm not manager out, but I want the responsibility to be on the manager. It has to be that way. It has to be that way. On the wider perspective, on a bigger perspective, the responsibility always lies on the Glazers and any else. But when it comes to this single football match, it's on Amarim to get the players going. So, what's your thoughts on this?
That's the other thing that I'm failing to understand is why players can't motivate themselves to step out in front of 76,000 fans. What is it? They're not they're not enjoying football. They don't like football. They need somebody to tell them what to do because they can't even change a fucking plug at home, so they have to get somebody in to change a plug for them. All this pampering that we do with these players and with the managers, by the way, and with the managers, they're so devoid of reality. They can't understand basic instructions. Now, I agree, Amarim's got to take the blame. He has to take the blame. But on the same time, he should be slicing the head off some of these players that just aren't fucking performing. You're not performing.
We're probably not seeing it,
No, we're not.
Why isn't he doing anything with, for example, Bruno after a game like this?
I would make that change. Bruno, you're not doing it for me. You're not playing next game. I don't fucking care. You can come out in the press. You can cry to your agent. I don't care. You're not playing. And I'm going to play Mount in your position. Dallo, whatever. It doesn't matter who. You've got to bring these fucking players to a heel. They play for the greatest club on the planet, not some fucking Sunday league fucking team. Getting pissed up at night. I just don't understand it. You listen to any ex-player of any club, and they will tell you, I don't recognise the club anymore. I don't recognise elements of the club. Where is the pride of playing for Manchester United anymore?
It's gone.
It just isn't. And all we do, kids, I said it last night, kids, they wait outside for their play in the cold and the rain and the snow for their players to come out in their, 400 grand cars. And they might give them a little bit of a signature and maybe take a photograph. And then you just know that when they're driving off, they're thinking, thank fuck, I'm going to do that again. They're all a bunch of fucking clowns. A lot of them. I hate them. I don't want to be around them. And if I'm a player, I'm not accepting that. If I'm in Manchester United now, I'm not accepting it. I'm not allowing standards to slip. And I'm not talking about Fergie's era. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about basic standards of football. That's all I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything unique, nothing with any rocket science attached to it. I'm just talking about the basic fundamentals of winning a football match. And we can't seem to do it. I'm amazed, honestly. I'm amazed they can tie their own fucking shoelaces at half that squad. I really am. I'm amazed they can do it. Oh, where's my kit? wait. They would be that stupid to wait for the kit managers to come around and hand them an undershirt rather than go and get it themselves.
Even shoelaces, to tie their laces, you should have Velcro. Some of them, it's incredible. Yeah,
they need Velcro. They need fucking Pampers off of them, and that's my frustration. My frustration is you went out, you trained Philip's team last night. We both did our crossbar challenge for a laugh, but we made time to go early to do something that we said we would do. And that's all it is. Whether you made it or not, it doesn't matter. It's the fact that you said you were going to do something and you made time to do it, and you've got this game coming up in 2 weeks' time. Yeah, it's going to be freezing cold.
The legend game.
It's going to be freezing cold, but I bet you're looking forward to it now. Now you're starting to look forward to it. You're 2 weeks out. You're going to get excited and things of this nature. These guys don't show any excitement whatsoever playing football.
No. But to change the debate over from, I think we all agree the players are dreadful. But again, it's down to the selection, the in-game management. It's down to the preparation. It's down to get him ready for the game. And we know they can't be trusted. We know we saw their lowest level against Grimsby, and we all thought, okay, this is rock bottom. It can't be worse. And now, suddenly this happened. And after the Europa League final against Spurs, we all felt, okay, we have reached rock bottom. Can't get worse. But we keep dropping in levels, and somewhere along the line we have allowed this to happen. The standards I hear a lot of people talk about standards, but we sacked Ten Hag coming in. He was 10th in the league when we sacked him after winning an FA Cup, after winning the League Cup, actually doing okay. He wasn't terrible, won us a couple of trophies, but we wanted Amarim, and now we brought him in. He's been 1 year in the job right now, and I feel that we are not it's not progress. We have declined. I feel we have declined, and it's really worrying. How much time will this project take? Because I still believe.
Football's it's a team sport. It's players and it's manager. It's coaches and it's manager. And I think you hit the nail on the head 6 months ago, whenever we were having the conversation, when you made a point about the age group of these coaches, and wasn't the board gone to Amarim and said, listen, you need to get X, Y, and Z in. We need a Premier League proven coach. You go and get it. Guardiola still has a Premier League player as a coach, and so does Slot. I know Slot's having a bad time of it in the moment, but whether or not you like Slot or not, the guy canted to a fucking Premier League title last season. He canted to it, whether we like it or not, and that was all down to the players. Nothing to do with Slot. Now Slot's trying to integrate certain things, and he can't get a tune out of it. We said about Guardiola half of last season when they lost 6 or 7, 8 on the run. I said he can't understand. He can't get his head around why people aren't playing the way that he wants them to play. And that happens in football. David Moyes has come out and said, I was praying that we're going to play through at the back again because I know what I was going to do. He's come out and said it. He's made it fucking clear. If I'm Amarim, I'm thinking, shit. An opposition manager's come out and said, I was praying you were playing through it at the back. Right, I'm not doing that at Palace. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with the back four at Palace and see, and play a traditional 4-3-3 potentially, or a 4-3-2-1, whichever, and try something different. I'm going to it's the cold. Look, I think Amarim is a soft touch, Trev. I do. It's not about it's, for me, it's about player standards, Trev. You're a really good supporter of our channel, but you've got standards. I've got standards. Everything that I do is I hold myself to a standard. Whatever that standard is, my standard might be lower than yours, it might be higher than yours, but I hold myself to a standard. And that to me is vitally important, whether I'm working, whether I'm running. Well, I can't run, for example, but, my aim is to run 10K. Can't run further than 10K, and I can't run 10K in 47 minutes. I run it in 1 hour and 5. But my standard is making sure I don't quit and I get to the end of it. That's what I do, you know, and I live my life like that. I don't understand why a person cannot get up in the morning and think to themselves, right, you know, this is my goals for the day and I'm going to go and achieve those goals. I just don't understand why we can get into your car, go to the changing room, go to the hotel, get on the coach from the Lowry to the stadium and just, I don't know what they're doing. Are they dicking about? Are they not listening? I don't know what they're doing. I just don't understand what they're doing. And that's my problem when I talk about standards, Trev. That's my issue. It's individual standards and personality and things of that nature, you know, and that's all it is, pal. So, you know.
We have a huge super chat coming in from Grace Sheridan. Thank you so much.
What are you doing? Thank you. That
is wow. Thank you. Stu, do you care to read it out?
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. Why didn't Tuchel get hate for using Chilwell and James as wing-backs in Chelsea's 3-4-3? They were full-backs and had Conte and Kovacic, in front of the back three. Nobody said it was too defensive. A great point, actually. You know, people didn't like Chilwell as a player, but he fit that system perfectly, and so did James. Now, when you look at a really good exponent, Grace, if you remember this, of a winger turning into a wing back, and I'm not talking Valencia at Manchester United because he was turned into a full back. I'm talking that Victor Moses from Chelsea completely changed his whole way that he was thought of as a footballer when he went to wing back at Chelsea. So it's a great point that you make. The other thing, Grace, about James and about Chilwell is they both had fucking energy and aggression and a fucking will to win that just you don't see, you know, and that's my problem. Grace, I can't thank you enough for that. That is so very, very kind of you.
Speaking of wing backs, how do you rate August's performance yesterday? Say again.
I was just wondering what you thought of Chilwell and James as wing backs. So I think it's a brilliant question, and
it's a great question. But for me, I think both of them have more attacking sense. You know, it's almost like playing Trent as a wing back. You will have special qualities, and both Chilwell and especially Reece James, you know, they thrive going forward. They are at the old, we call them offensive fullbacks. You know, and you know. Back in the days, in my time, you had Roberto Carlos, you had Cafu, and those type of guys, and we all talked about the offensive fullback, you know. But I think these guys, Chilwell and James, are made in the bracket of those type of players. So they had it in them to be attacking and to thrive and go forward. You know, when I see a player like, for example, Dogu. He's out of ideas every time he receives the ball on the opposition side. He doesn't know what to do. You know, he can defend, he can run, but you know, when he's got the ball, he has a couple of yards of space. He's out of ideas. He doesn't know what to do.
Trev made a good point last night, buddy. Trev Wade, he said that Dorgu's an athlete, and I totally agree.
He's an athlete, yes.
But can you be an athlete and a footballer? You should be able to be an athlete and a footballer. I feel a bit sorry for Dorgu. And the reason I feel sorry for him is, and this is terrible, he's a trier. And everybody loves a trier. We all know that old saying. That's not what I mean. It means that he will give his all. Whether his all's good enough, who knows? But he will give his all. Danny Bees makes a great point here. I'd forgotten about Pavel Nedved playing at wing back. Is that Juventus, Danny B? I think you're talking about. I'd forgotten about
the Czech legend, Pavel Nedved. He was a hell of a player.
A wonderful wavy head, and you know he was a brilliant footballer.
He was the Modric before Modric came in. You know,
I think he was. Yeah, I guess what we're talking about those types
more
of
intensity,
players, the Nedved, the Cafus. even Yosimar, if you remember back in the Brazil right back, you know, scored a few wicked goals. Brazil right back. You know, these
still
people.
82.
That's right. They were athletes, but footballers at the same time. Nedved used his brain to absolute perfection. Szoboszlai, I think, is a really good example. I've said before, haven't I? Playing right for Liverpool, uses his brain to play. Garner, when he plays fullback, he's played left and right, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for Everton. Uses his brain to play. Zanetti, what a player, Danny B, correct. So there's been some Maldini, centre half, left back, left centre half, left wing back. He wasn't blessed with pace at all, Maldini, but he used his brain for his positional play. And I like those types of players, but they don't exist anymore. I mean, me and you had a conversation ages ago, didn't we? And we were talking about where do types of footballers, where are they anymore? Where's your Lothar Matthäus? Where's your Matthias Sammer? You know, where's your Rivaldo? You know, where's your R9? Where's your Ronaldinho? Where's your I don't know, Gabriel Batistuta? Where are these players? They don't exist anymore, do they? The real, you know, the Figos, the Iniestas, the Xavis, the real greats of the game, they just don't exist anymore. And it's so fucking sad that these players don't continue or don't understand. You know, when you're looking back, hey, sweetie, when you're looking back at your history, I'm not talking about Manchester United history, I'm talking about football in general.
Yeah.
You speak about Mexico 86 a lot, don't you? You could reel off that absolute quality. What about USA 94? The same World Cup that had Stoichkov and Hadji. Fucking hell, Maradona. The same World Cup, man.
Not to forget Thomas Brolin.
Thomas Brolin, no.
He was rubbish at Leeds, but you know, at that World Cup, he was something special.
Yeah. And so they don't exist anymore, or they don't want to exist. Sorry, Trev, where's Bebe? I forgot about that. They don't want to exist anymore. I don't know. Vicky said, by the way, it's a really good point. Sorry, Vic. Hey, Dorgo is young and is adapting his pace in the Premier League, just needs to harness his ball control. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Con. You're absolutely right. He is. Bilal's coming with a super chat.
Brilliant. Thank you, Bilal. Thank you, Bilal, for the super chat. He comes in and say, when I was a little boy, I would watch as many football matches as I could. Now I try to avoid football. This is what MUFC did to me. And I think you feel a lot that we all feel, you know, we Man United has put us off football. You know, I'm glad that I have the Norwegian football national team. When they play, you know, I thrive. I really enjoy myself. Sometimes when I watch Bodø/Glimt play, you know, they're not at their best at the moment. You know, they're struggling in the Champions League. Maybe it's a level too high for them, but, you know, I always enjoy myself when I watch them. You know, I'm sitting on the edge of my chair. When I watch United, I always expect the worst. I don't trust them. And you know, maybe it's just for myself, trying to protect myself, you know, because I don't want to get down, you know. I'm sitting there being too critical because, you know, I'm expecting Man United to lose almost every game because I think we are shit, to be honest. I think we are crap. We are a crap team with crap players, crap manager, crap tactics, and we look disjointed as a team. You know, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing. You know, I grew up in the 90s, the 2000s. I was used to seeing Man United being the best team in the world, playing attractive football, sitting on the edge of my seat, cheering, you know, attacking, goals, you know, excitement all the time. But now we are left with this, you know, the dross that we saw yesterday against Everton, you know, against 10 men at Old Trafford. It's terrible. It's terrible to watch. So I totally get what you're saying, Bilal. I totally get.
No, I'm with him. I totally agree. When I was small, Bilal, and I was growing up, it was Liverpool and Wolves. So Liverpool were the top team. Wolves were up and about there. You know, Manchester United for me, there was nothing. You know, we weren't winning anything. We'd won a couple of cups, you know, in the 70s. Got into a few finals, etc. But we weren't really operating at the high level. And we weren't operating with the greatest, coaches. Tommy Docherty was was
77 FA Cup final. Tommy Docherty.
That's right. Yeah. And then
the year I was born, by the way, 77. So I don't remember anything, but I watched the VHS, the tape.
Wow, the VHS, yeah.
Yes.
No, absolutely. And and you got Dave Sexton that came in. He was a brilliant coach for Chelsea. He couldn't adapt to management style. You got Big Ron, was brilliant for West Brom. Couldn't really push Manchester United on. And all of a sudden, this Scottish guy flies down from Aberdeen and takes us to the promised land. So, but when you look at our trajectory, it took him a while, didn't it, to mould the team that he needed. Now, back then, there's nowhere near the money that was on offer than what it is today. I mean, Gary Neville was earning 1.5 million a season, something like that, which is ridiculous, by the way. But he was earning that type of money when our players are earning 18 million a season. And so I just want these players to have some pride, when they pull on that shirt and they, I don't want to see a current Manchester United player kiss the badge. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see him touch it because it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just for it's for show. It's not.
Yeah, it's for show. So if I kiss the badge, people will like me. Well, they won't. They won't like you. Now
it's posing. It's posing. It's just posing. It's
bullshit. It is posing. Yeah, well, I've called footballers posers for a while. So João Amarim talks about United going in for Oscar Bob. I think he's a fantastic footballer. I think he's got great balance, great feet. Absolutely.
He would never thrive in a Man United team. That's the problem. We got rid of one of the best dribblers, Pilestri, for example. We never gave him a chance. We have had so many players like that. Oscar Bob, he's an incredible player, but I can't see him succeeding at Man United. But I sure would like to sign him. But so I agree with you, Yala. But we don't seem to play players like that. The technical, the ballers, the guy with a little bit of flair, the guys who can do the incredible.
We just they've never survive with us, Jarvis. No. We get turned over very, very quickly. We're not up to speed on transition pace. We're not up to speed on counter-attacking pace. I just don't know. I mean, Elgus, Jesus Christ, he just talked about Ronaldinho, Zola, and Kaka. Oh, wow. Fucking hell.
Yes. Gianfranco Zola.
What a player.
The worst thing is, when he came to the Premier League, I think he was old. He was 29 or something. So we never saw the best of Gianfranco Zola, the guy who played for Parma in Serie A. When he was at his best, he was a magician. He was almost like Maradona in the way he played football. For me, Zola was one of the best players, in the 90s in the Serie A. When he came to Chelsea, he was a little bit older, so he was a little bit slower, and he was even good in the Premier League.
I mean, Helge, me and Jarvis are speaking about Mavericks last season. I made a very similar point. There's no Mavericks in football anymore. I want them back. I want somebody to walk into a changing room and his dick's been there 30 seconds before he arrives. That's the type of player you need. We don't have that anymore. Eric Cantona was probably the last United player that did that. He got that air of invincibility around him. Even when you look at Real Madrid today, it doesn't exist. Jude Bellingham doesn't have that aura at Barcelona. Lamine Yamal doesn't have that aura. That nobody has that aura anymore. But Lothar Matthäus did. When he walked into a room and you knew what you were getting. Franz Beckenbauer did. All these real, true artists of the game.
Zico.
One, yes.
All these players.
What a left foot Adair had. Absolutely brilliant. And it just, Roberto Baggio with his Ponzi ponytail. But, stupid ponytail, but he could back it up, couldn't he? With the book, David Platt could back it up. It was just meat and two veg footballer, David Platt.
Canio, remember him? Yeah. He had an attitude, but there's some controversy when it comes
sorry,
to
Vicky, you're right about
Messi. He was
you are right about Messi, but I don't think we discuss Messi and Ronaldo at all in that type of player, do we? Messi is, not a unique footballer, and Ronaldo. They are in this current generation of footballers are stood way above the parapet by miles. But there was nobody else to challenge them, was there? Nobody really challenged.
One player that's undervalued, that's never mentioned, is Hernan Crespo. I saw some clips the other day from Crespo, and what a player. He actually reminded me a little bit when he strides. When he put on the acceleration, he reminds me of Haaland. And if you go back, watch a couple of clips of Crespo in his movement, he's intelligent. One of the best strikers in the 90s, and also Giuseppe Signori. Always putting in goals for who was it he played for, Bologna or
you know about Giuseppe Signori?
Yeah, Giuseppe Signori.
Yeah, it's like Giuseppe Signori. Yeah, you see people don't remember him.
Yeah,
fantastic.
And we had the great striker who played for AC Milan and Marseille, Jean-Pierre Papin. I don't know if you remember him. And when you go really back, Marco van Basten, all-time favorite.
Got curly hair, Papin did. Great player. Same as Rudi Völler. I mean, Voldemort is definitely Völler's son, 100%. I mean, I've never seen a footballer look like another player, but he is. And I just think that, actually, we deserve better. Just hit the nail on the head here. Managers are trying to be too clever. I fucking 100% agree with it. I've been talking about this for years, pal. Honestly, you could look at any of my shows. I've been talking about it for years and trying to reinvent football. There's nothing you can do. Football only has. When me and Jarvis had to do our new formations, we were still, whatever we tried, it was still going to be a formation style of what's gone on, because you can't only do 3-4 formations max.
According to Bielsa, there's 8 formations. And that's it.
That's what Bielsa says, yeah.
But Bielsa, he doesn't know anything.
No, what does he know? What does he know?
What does he know?
Ravanelli, what a striker he was for Juventus, and then Middlesbrough. He came in on an absolute king's ransom, didn't he, at Middlesbrough? George Weah, absolutely.
He was fantastic. Never get to see the World Cup, George Weah.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. There's some great players never got
Ballon d'Or winner. I think he was the first African player winning the Ballon d'Or.
He was. Yeah, he was an absolute beast, wasn't he?
Fantastic footballer. Let's not derail too much, talking about the oldies and goldies. Let's just revert back to Man United.
That's because we're happy when we talk about that stuff.
Yes, sorry to bring you down, guys, but this is why we are here. We want to talk a little bit about Man United, and I sat here before the show, in my own world, drawing on the tactical board. And after the show on Norodin, I had a long. I think I sat in the studio in the green room afterwards for more than an hour and talked to Lobani and Ben and all of them. And we talked about football. I showed them clips. We took up the tactical board, and Lobani told me what's the difference between a Amorim 3-4-3 and a what's the Crystal Palace manager's name again? Glasner for 3-4-2-1, and mainly he told me that it's because of the wing backs. Because when we play like this, let's say we are playing out from the back, we have Lamens here, ball comes from Luke Shaw, we play over to Euro, and when usually the other teams they press with an angle to block off the passing lanes back to the goalkeeper and center back like this. So. And they try to squeeze and lock them in. Amarim, he always has these diamonds. You see this here with Euro, Ahmad, Casemiro, and then Mbumo. We've seen this. We talked about this many times. And this is Amarim's so-called strength. We try to find Mbumo for him to turn with the ball and then start carrying the ball and keep getting the opposition off guard. And then you have other players doing diagonal runs in every direction. This is the Amarim football in a nutshell. But if you look at Glasner, he does it in another way, because what happens, we don't have the ability to play yourself out from the back, because it usually gets really tight in areas like this. You see here, for example, let's say Euro has the ball. He's under pressure from Gary, Grealish, and the fullbacks always pin our wingbacks down, and then we're out of option, and we just have to play it long, hoof it long. That's the only way out. So Glasner is actually doing it a little bit differently. Don't clip this, because it's probably a little bit factual. True, I'm paraphrasing here, but you get the gist what I'm trying to say. He plays in a different way. He moves his wingbacks high up the pitch like this. So he's doing the opposite. He's pinning down the opposition's fullbacks, and he drags his number 10s a little bit deeper. I don't know if you see the dynamic right away now, Stu, what's actually going on, because you play with the 3-4-3.
I do, but actually Glasner's Luani's okay. He knows, he knows a little bit about the game, but he's missed the glaring omission is Will Hughes. He's the absolute linchpin into the way that Crystal Palace play. He is the one player that is the constant in the Crystal Palace system. And anybody who knows anything about football and will listen to us, Jarvis, on Spotify right now or wherever we're being broadcast, and they go, well, fucking Hughes, what, the Watford one, the fucking albino, he must be off your fucking tree. Doesn't know anything about the game. You watch him. You watch Will Hughes, if he plays on Monday night, when we talk about subtle movement and positional play and box squeezing. And I talk about it all the time, don't I? So you're what you're talking about the way that Glasner pushes our fullbacks high up the pitch, or attacks our fullbacks high up the pitch, is absolutely right. But they've always got the little Energizer Duracell bunny, because I think he's a redhead, I'm pretty sure he is, that dyes his hair blonde, who's always available. Get it, move it. Get it, move it. Get it, move it. That's all he does. Get it, move it. It's like a big box, square box when you're dancing in the in the 80s. That's all he does. Gets it, moves it. Gets it, moves it. Gets it, moves it. And he has allowed Wharton to become this illustrious peacock that we all see at the moment. And he is the peahen. He's the ugly little duckling, and Wharton is the player. And what I was going to finish off, the reason why he's the linchpin is because nobody expects it. It's like shadow boxing. You know the guys in the shadows on the bowels of a team that don't expect him to be so quick, to be so hugely important to the game, and it's really interesting how he plays with them. I know he's a bit in and out the side, Danny. I know he had a run of games, I think last season, towards the back end of the last season, when Glasner really stumbled on what he was trying to do. But yeah, he's the key. He's the linchpin. I can't believe I'm even saying it, to be honest. I can't believe I'm even saying it.
But Stu, I want to go back to this, because I think it's important for us to understand. And I want you on board on this. I want you to see what I'm seeing, because if you remember 2 seconds ago when I showed you this, we set up the diamonds, and suddenly we are, as we see here, we are pinned down. None of our players are actually free. We are relying on Mbeumo to drop, receive the ball under pressure from a centre back or a DM. It depends, how the opposition press. And I think it's a difficult task doing that. And you need specialized players like Mbeumo, like Cunha, with the ability, the strength, and to be able to turn and run with the ball. But when you do it like this, when you pin down, you suddenly create space. And in football, space is so vital, in my opinion. Let's say now we have the same situation. We have Casemiro here, we have Mbeumo here, we have Ahmad up here. So for Euro now, he has ability to play Casemiro centrally, and he has ability for Euro to move, Mbeumo to move, for example, out and then be available. So I think it makes the playing out from the back and controlling the game so much easier.
But here's
And you also get another thing. Look at the defense. What do you see in the opposition defense? They are stretched out.
Yeah, they're stretched. Yeah, but here's the
so
problem.
When we play in our way, the opposition is compact, because when we play out in the diamonds, you usually see the two DMs and the two center backs surrounding and creating a square. And that box is so hard to break down because we have our number 10s like this.
But this is where we don't think. I talk about football intelligence done all the time on the pitch. Where Grealish is now, if I'm in Mbeumo, okay, and we've decided to go short, I'm on Grealish. I'm nudging Grealish out of the way and allowing Euro to move into 20 yards of space. It's such a simple thing to do, but we don't do it, Jarvis. We don't. So your point is correct, but this is what I'm talking about. Football intelligence.
If Euro carries the ball a little bit high and attracts pressure from Grealish, there's openings. There are openings to play out from this. There's so much easier to play a 5 to 10 yard pass than to play a 25-yard pass accurate.
Yeah, but even more simple.
There's a reason why Guardiola prefers the tiki-taka. 5-yard passes all the time, because you never lose the ball.
But like I say,
you control.
More simple is put Grealish back to where he was, and put on Mbeumo just on Grealish's shoulder.
Yeah, but I'm saying that this room here, this space here for Mbeumo to move into if he wants the ball.
I wouldn't. If I was,
but you don't want to occupy this space. This is for Lenny Euro.
No, I'm not occupying him. I'm putting him in front of Grealish. I'm making him block Grealish. That's it. Then you've got the space to manoeuvre. But we don't do that, mate.
No, we don't.
Let me be clear. What you're saying is 100% right. Everything you've just said is 100% right. But when I look at the game and I watch a game unfold, if I'm Mbeumo, I'm watching Grealish potentially move into Yora's position. So I'm going to go and block him. I'm going to stand in front of him. I'm going to say to Yora, get up that fucking wing. Ahmad, get beyond. Is it Nuos, won't it? What's his name? The fullback. We'll just use Mikolenko. We'll just move Mikolenko.
Yeah, Mikolenko.
Beyond him. I've got some running space now. Grealish is pushed off, and Mbeumo starts sprinting, and we've got Grealish out of position.
Yeah, but let's say Lenny Euro comes up. Mikolenko and Grealish is occupied here or here. Mikolenko is the guy who needs to step up. Key needs to push out. Suddenly the space. And the golden rule of defense, one man up. You're not one man up. You're man to man. Why are Crystal Palace? Why are Munoz scoring so many goals for Crystal Palace? They're high up the pitch. They're ready to go.
Because we're not man mark. We're not man blocking. That's the biggest issue. So if we get in there and we stop Grealish, you're absolutely right. Mikolenko comes in. Yoro drops the ball over before Keane can even get anywhere near Ahmad, and Ahmad's away.
And you have the ability to play it here, or you can play it into Crystal Palace and over.
Correct. Yeah, and we've got that bit, and that one little piece of play starts with Mbeumo blocking Grealish. That's all it does.
But you see the stability of this system when you play a 3-4-2-1 in this way. It's so much more secure because you are stable. You have lots of guys in the central area. You never get overloaded. And you make it difficult, and you stretch the opposition, and you give yourself a chance to control the game. This is what I feel is wrong with the Amarim game. Everything is very compact. It demands a lot from the players. You need specialized players. You need strong players like Mbeumo, like Cunha, to be able to receive the ball under pressure and do something. And you need those runners with good ball technique control who can carry the ball for a long distance.
Absolutely.
So
my point being there, my old mate, was if Mbeumo, and what you said about Mikolenko is right. He's going to have to come in and get Yoro. Yoro, as soon as he comes in, bang, I'm getting that ball out to Ahmad. And Keane isn't coming there. Keane's having to go diagonally back to catch up with Ahmad at that point. And we've got out of there really quickly by blocking Grealish. It could be anybody. My old mate. But at that particular point. So you're absolutely right. But we don't. My question to you is, pal, why don't we do that?
Yeah,
It's like
it's the same. I'm going to ask the same. Why doesn't Amarim has this in his locker?
That's
Why
what I
don't
mean.
we?
It's
We
not
can
rocket
change it up.
science.
We can change it up. Okay, now it's
Of course we
time.
can.
In this instance, we push up the wing backs and we drop down the number 10s.
Absolutely. As
We
you
don't
pointed
have it because Amarim is too rigid. And when you are too rigid, you get found out in the Premier League. As I said, the headline of the show is Amarim is found out. And
no,
for
but he
me,
is. He
I
is found out.
feel it's about his stubbornness. He needs to mix it up. He started a little bit mixing it up, starting to play it long directly from the goalkeeper to the number 10s because we didn't go through the wide center back and then to the number 10. So we just skipped the link, go directly from the goalkeeper long. It worked for 4 or 5 games, maybe at best,
like that,
stretching it. But now we are found out again. So
do you know what I find really funny?
Be a little bit creative.
Do you know what I find funny more than anything? Is that me and you don't hold a super license?
No.
Coaching. I'm got a UEFA whatever, but I can tell you straight away with a layman's eye what I would do to help eliminate what Glasner does. Now, you've got to spring players. Munoz for Palace is brilliant at getting behind, isn't he? All the time. We've got to stop that because it really will be a problem for us. I don't know. He's just come out and said he picked up a knock, hasn't he? What really happened? Looks like the squad had a big fallout.
I think it's just a precaution because it's a injury to
it's a head,
wasn't it? Injury. Head so it's always like you need to rest. If there's a small a chance for an injury, you have to rest for at least. I think it's 48 hours at least. Minimum.
He'll be back.
If he's concussed, it's just how it is.
Sanchi, you legend, coming in with 200 rupees. Thank you, buddy. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Want to back Rúben, get rid of players who were responsible for last year's 15th place. Thoughts, please. I'll let you handle that one part.
Want to back Amarim. Yeah, I understand you want to back Amarim and get rid of the players who were responsible for the last year's 15th place.
15,
But for me, I talked a little bit about this. If I understand your question correctly, we are into what we call culture. What's going on in the locker room? How are the players received when they come to Man United? Is there player power? Are you losing touch? When you suddenly gain 1 million followers on X, do you feel the pressure? Always, constantly, everywhere you walk, you're getting recognized, and you're not private anymore. You're a public figure. The moment you sign for Man United, not every Premier League player is recognized every time they move outside. But being a Man United player, you are under scrutiny. And also, I think the culture at Man United is we have become a team that our culture is we are accepting mediocre performances, and the culture is now we wait for the next game for them to revenge themselves. And it was never like this before. There were no cushion for the players to fall back at. You had to win every game. That was the culture under Fergie. You had to perform. If you weren't performing in the first half, you're off. You could bring on someone else. And Fergie was never afraid, to take chances. He was a gambler. He was a gambler, big, huge gambler. And he gambled so much, But he won him the Champions League. But he also gambled in other Champions League finals and lost, especially the first one against Barcelona. He did man mark Messi, and it didn't end well. He set up the team and failed. But that's how it is. But at least he tried, and I want to give it to him. But now the culture is, it's okay to fuck up. It's okay to play a bad game. It's okay to have a bad performance. We can do better next time. It's it's not a winning mentality. You know, it's not how you set up a group of professionals, athletes to win. And you know, I think it all goes back all the way back to Ed Woodward, and I think it was Ed Woodward who installed this. As soon as Fergie left, we hired Ed Woodward as our sporting director, if you can call him that, and David Moyes. And Patrick Evra said in his interview, you know, in his book, how David Moyes, you know, let the players have the power. He asked them, he asked Ryan Giggs, he asked Paul Scholes and all of them, you know, how do you win the Premier League? How do you win games? What do I have to do? You know, he weren't the leader they needed. He didn't have the answers. And you know, after that, things start to fall apart. The players didn't trust him. And Ed Woodward, he went to the players and interviewed all the players in the group of Man United and asked them, do you trust David Moyes? And that was the start of player power, you know. Suddenly the players realized, okay, we're doing well, we're doing bad. Who will be the scapegoat? It's the manager. We can just tell the guy in charge, Ed Woodward, that we don't trust him. So I think, you know, that was the beginning of the fall down that we are into now. And you know, we've seen it over and over again. We saw it with Van Gaal, we saw it with Mourinho, we saw it with Ole. Player power. We saw it with Ten Hag. I'm sure that a lot of players have know that they didn't give it all for the manager, for the badge, for the shirt, because they knew that we get away with it. And here we sit, you know, 10, 15 years after, and still with the same dilemma. And I bet you a lot of these players will be happy if Amarim leaves. And if they were asked by let's say Sir Jim Ratcliffe, they would say, no, I don't trust him. Get him out of here. So it's up to Ineos now to change the route, you know, take charge of the ship and steer us in the right direction, because we have been moving in the wrong direction now for 10, 15 years. Stu, what's your take?
I think it's a really good question. I think you've answered it really, really well. Look, I'm with you. Player power is a big, big problem. Fergie mentioned before he left it that agents were becoming way too more powerful at that particular time. And he cited Mino Raiola as being one of those agents over the Paul Pogba incident. And player power has become such a disease in football in general that you can't go back. It's gone way too far now, and there is no turning back on player power. The only way you're going to do it is to sack a high-profile footballer and say, look, you know, and it can't be done, by the way, because they're contractually tied in, but to sack a high-profile footballer and say, look, you know, for us, it's not working out. We're going to do you for gross misconduct, blah, 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 blah. But it won't happen because his agent comes in and starts crying, oh, well, you know, my client didn't get bread rolls, the type of bread rolls that he likes. So what you can do about it?
Evian, not the regular exactly. Water. No tap, you know. Wanted Voss.
Of that nature. And, you know, and it's such a thing you mentioned about celebrity. Celebrity is the biggest nonsense in the world. It just is. It's something that we as people, we consider ourselves ordinary people. How bad is that? People are people. It doesn't matter who you are, but we describe ourselves as I'm just an ordinary person. You're not. You're as good as, if not better, than a so-called footballer or a musician or actor or this or that. And we feed this modern beast. Well, celebrity's been around for years, hasn't it? We feed this beast, that celebrity, that these people are sometimes untouchable. You're not untouchable. You know, the manager isn't untouchable. The players aren't untouchable. The coaches aren't untouchable. The chefs aren't untouchable. You know, nobody is untouchable. But these players think that they are, and they've been told for so long that they're untouchable. It's fucking horrible. And so, you know, if I'm in Barcelona's dressing room, or if I'm in Villa's dressing room, or Chelsea's dressing room, and I'm looking at Rashford or Garnacho or Sancho walking through the door. I'm like, the fuck do you want? What are you doing here? You're crying like a little baby. I don't want you on this team. I don't want you in this building. Go away. Fuck off. And these players are cancers. They really are. It's a horrible word to say, but they are. And they go in and they squeeze the lifeblood out of, some really good footballers. And we've allowed this to happen at Manchester United. We've got these certain players and they just squeeze they're like blood-sucking ticks out of the likes of Mbeumo, the likes of Cunha, who really want to come and do a job. Dallo and Bruno, they're like blood-sucking ticks and just squeezing the lifeblood. And we're watching Amarim just fade away into obscurity. It's like he's going to get blown away by a gust of wind soon, because he just cannot or will not, or somebody just won't listen. And the hierarchy is gone. Look, I thought, whether we liked Jim Ratcliffe coming out and saying I'm supporting him for 3 years, it's the best thing they could do to the club, so that Bruno can't think he's going to get rid of another coach. We've got to get rid of these footballers who are on exceptionally high salary, who just aren't doing it for us. Luke Shaw's got to go in the summer. Bruno's got to go in the summer. Casemiro goes in the summer. They've all got to go. All these players have got to go. Harry Maguire, you move him on. You move Mason Mount on. You move these fucking players on, and you bring in a raft of fresh blood who want to play football, who love football.
But I agree, but I think we have been trying this, move players on, sign new ones, but after a while, the new ones become the old ones, and the merry goes around.
It's because we're keeping the likes of Bruno, we're keeping the likes of Casemiro, keeping the likes of...
Yeah, but we all said the same when we were talking about keeping the likes of McTominay and keeping the likes of Rashford, and to balance the argument. And I think we need to look ourselves in the mirror, what are we actually doing here, as a club? But it's not every player is not the problem. They are talent. But what's going on? Why can't we get they to perform from the best of their abilities?
Because they can't be asked. Where is the talent? There is no talent in this club at the minute, because they can't perform. They can't show talent. They haven't got the desire or the will or the want to show talent. Look, there's no point in showing it in 3 games out of 38. It's a waste of time, a complete waste of time. If you don't show talent, you're dropped. If you've had a shit game, you're dropped. Bruno, you're on the fucking bench against Palace. I don't care. Go and cry to your agent. You're on the bench. And I'm telling you now, you're on the bench.
Yeah.
And then, Mount, you're playing, or Mino, you're playing. Do something. You've got to expose these players. But Amarim needs to expose himself as well, by the way. He can't go around saying, I'm telling them what to do and they're not listening. You're the fucking gaffer, for fuck's sake. They're not listening. You don't play. You don't play. The end. Simple as. You're not playing. If you don't listen, you don't play. And I will lose my job. I will get sacked by playing younger players, by playing players that actually want to come and play football, and not that, I don't like that, don't like this, I don't like that. Not happy with the ball, not happy with that side of the pitch and all that kind of bollocks. Just go be somewhere else. That's where I'm at with it. That's why I'm completely fed up. When I go on that pitch, my fault. Sorry. If I'm dropped, it's my fault. Yeah, I'm the one who hasn't performed. So I take it on the chin and I work hard in training the following week. If I'm pulled off at half time, I'm asking the question why, and I'm expecting a blunt answer. Well, he beat you for pace 4 times. What do you want me to do? Just leave you on there so we can beat you another 4 times?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. And you've got to go, okay, you're right. He did beat me for pace. You didn't adjust. You didn't stand off. You didn't, adjust your game. So I'm just fed up of players being allowed to get away with substandard performances. The manager being allowed to get away with allowing it to happen, because all in all, Jarvis, it's a complete unit, and Amarim's allowing it, and the players don't seem to give a fuck. Nobody can tell me any of the players really cared last night.
No,
nobody can tell me that.
I think they all slept great last night.
Yeah, they probably did. Great. Yeah, they probably did. Went into their homes. I don't know. I'm just fed up with it. I am fed up with their attitude. I'm sick of talking about it, though, Jarvis. That's what's pissing me off.
But my problem with this squad right now is, after last games, last night's game when we lost the game. You go into the dressing room after the game. You sit down, you have a chat, you talk about what went wrong, what happened, how you can improve. And for to learn from this, you need to do it instantly when everything is fresh. But I think today, a lot of these players, if you ask them again, what can you do to win games like this? I don't think they learned anything, and this is my biggest fear, because, as I said, we've seen a new low every time with the Spurs Europa League final, with the Grimsby game, and now with the Everton game. We see the new low every time, and we allow it. It's allowed in the group. It's allowed for the players to slack off and don't take accountability. I think this is where Amarim comes in as the gaffer. You need to be strong as the hawk. You just get to stand in the storm and be the beacon of light. To guide everybody through. And for me, going on Amarim a little bit, his in-game management is terrible. It's terrible. What he showed me so far during 1 year. I criticized Ten Hag for in-game management. I criticized Ole for in-game management. I criticized, but when it comes to Amarim, he's never changing up his game plan. He's never changing up what's going on the pitch. We never seem to be better during those 90 minutes. He doesn't understand the dynamics. He's not like Klopp. Like, okay, this is not working. Take out one player and move in another one in the midfield. Take off a striker, take off a fullback, move in a centre back. Whatever, you change up the game. He doesn't have the know-how. He's inexperienced, yes, but now he has 1 year in his belt. So he needs to step it up.
But again, my question is, why is he not learning? Why is he not learning?
I think it's a culture the same as the players. They're not learning when we are.
Let me ask you a question, Jarvis. Let me ask you a question. I say to you, Jarvis, meet me at 7:00 at the Telford College, and I've got a challenge for you. Okay, what's that? And I've put a brick wall 20 yards. I said, Jarvis, right, run into that brick wall. Hey, just run into that brick wall. Go on. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Sooner or later, you're going to turn around and say, what for? You're going to say, what for? I can't break through the brick wall. It isn't fucking working. Exactly. So what are you going to do then? I'm going to climb over it. Thank you. You've made a fucking decision. You have made that decision. It's a stupid, crude example, but that's that's what's happening. It's the same old fucking thing. We fall into the same holes week in, week out. So why isn't Bruno turned around and said, hold on, Rúben, this ain't working, mate. This is not working. We don't want to play with a 3 at the back. We want to play with a 4 at the back. We want to put 3 in the middle, and then we want to put one central striker and 2 around him. Okay? Then I can join up with the play, but Casemiro's got more control in the middle of the park. Okay? Yeah. It's not working with the 2 of us. It's not working with the 2 of us. I've told you before it's not working with the 2 of us. Why is he not doing that? Why is somebody not going and saying, Rúben, it ain't working, mate? When will you learn?
Yeah, but the leadership group is I don't know who picked the leadership group. Was it Amarim? It's his players. It's
Diego
Dallo. It's Bruno. It's the Portuguese guys. And how are you ever going to come into the manager's office and talk to him about things like that? You're risking getting benched and sacked out of the team. So. Going back to the game, I see a lot of great comments. Guys, every player on the pitch, you can argue is out of position except the goalkeeper. 100%, I agree.
I agree.
But that is on the manager. It's he picks his team, it's his selection, and his game plan. So this is what we got. But I want to talk a little bit before we wrap up the show. We're not going to go too long tonight. I know it's a Tuesday show, so I want to talk a little bit about beating the low block. We struggled so much yesterday, and I said, did the players even reflect after the game? How to win the game? But for me, when it comes to beating a low block, you need to try to stretch them out as much as possible. That's the first thing, and you need to come in with deep runs, to penetrate them, but not straight ahead. You have to have a lot of diagonal runs, but not just one. And why do you want to do this? It's about one thing. It's about creating space. So if you come with the diagonal run, you run past one of the center backs or the fullbacks or whatever, and they have to follow you because you're in the danger area. So the second they start following you, you leave a gap, and that space is the space you want others to attack. But we didn't do it. We did it once during the game, once.
Yes.
Once through the full 90 minutes or whatever against a low block Everton team, and I will show you this. It's very interesting, to watch. But we did it, but we didn't do anything about it. So here you see it, Stu. I want you to pay attention to. No. This is the Bruno Xerxes thing. Okay, let me just find it. Yeah. Stu, do a couple of comments. I will find it. Sorry, guys, for keeping you waiting.
Let's have a look, see what we've got. There's been loads of great comments tonight, by the way. Absolutely. Trev says, as fans, we're the ones left reflecting. The players are not married to the badge. Once they leave United, it's on to the next. It's just a job for most of these players. Yeah, absolutely. Helga says, good to see you, Helga. What about Nuno from West Ham? Yeah, it did a lot. We deserve better. We're obsessed with what players do in their own private time. Let's criticise them for what they do on the pitch. Yeah, I agree with that as well.
100%.
Yeah, I agree. Jay, good to see you, Jay. Nuno at West Ham, he built up a broken forest, struggling in the Championship, got them promoted and turned them into a good side. That's absolutely true. He did. And Bilal says, smash the like, people, please.
Thank you, Bilal.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the right footage. So I want you to keep a close eye on Bruno. We have Bruno in this area, and also we have Mason Mount behind him. So what will happen now is Bruno taking a diagonal run. So you see here, Bruno starts the sprint, and right after him, it's Garner who's on him in this moment. We just have to do it like this, and we can play the rest. And now you see Mason Mount coming in. So, if you have several diagonal runs, you have to penetrate that low block. And then suddenly you have space and you get the Everton defense in panic mode and running. So, Bruno created a chance here, a what do you call it? Layoff.
Yeah, he should have gone with his left peg there. I don't know why he tried to.
Yeah, the finish is poor, but it's the principle how to try to break them down. We were like statues. What do you call the old football game they used to play?
The old table football. Yeah. Look, it was a good ball into Mount, and Mount did quite well there as well. Getting the ball to Xerxes is a difficult pass. It's going to probably get taken out.
Xerxes doing his job there. He's occupying the centre back, keeping central. If there's a chance, he will be there in the right spot.
So using Bruno was right, but why he didn't take it with his left peg is beyond me.
Yeah.
I said it.
But you do agree. I think this was one of the recipes to win the game.
Yes,
but you have to be willing to sacrifice yourself to take the first run, to open up space for someone else.
Yeah, and the other thing is, instead of cutting inside all the time on your favoured foot, go outside. Ahmed and Mbeumo come in on the left all the time. Go out on your fucking right. Do something. Bulldoze your way through. Get out of your fucking way and keep going. Do something. We talk about it all the time. And as soon as they swept up the low block, what did they do? Bang. Out to Barry. Barry takes on his chest. Thank you very much. Quick knock on to Grealish. And then Grealish can hold the ball like as good as anyone. Waits for some support to come up, and away they go. They're in the attacking position. But that isn't rocket science. That's just basic fundamentals of football.
It is basics. I want to run this through you guys one more time just to explain to you. And I think why I think we are never consistent is because when we do things like this, I can analyze this and say, now we did good. This was a good thing. But if you look at Bruno's reaction, his run is here. And why this run is effective is because he takes with him O'Brien. and then he creates a little bit of space. It's not much, but in modern football, it's just an opening, 5 extra yard for a split second. That's enough for a player like Mason Mount to understand and then attack the second run.
Yeah.
But if you look at Bruno, it's just on chance. He makes the run for himself. If you look at Bruno now, he runs, doesn't receive the ball. Look at Bruno's arms.
Yeah,
It's like
going
in the World Cup final.
Instead of concentrating on what he should be doing.
Yes.
I want to point out the player in the middle of the pitch. I don't know who it is that's pointing already to O'Brien.
It's Kobe. It's
the Everton player in the middle. You see where Mount is?
Yes.
Yeah, just circle that Everton player just down from Mount.
Okay, yeah. This guy.
No, the next one.
Okay, yeah. This is Garner. This is O'Brien. This is Keane.
I want you to watch Garner as it unfolds. Just watch Garner. You talk about influence on a football pitch. Just watch Garner. Take it back and just watch Garner. It's interesting.
He's pointing at Bruno and leaves him to O'Brien.
Already dictating what's going to happen. Brilliant football. Watch as you play it on. Watch his head. There. Just a little look. He knows exactly where he is on the pitch. He knows exactly what to do. Now, Mason Mount, there's no way O'Brien was going to see Mount come in. Just never going to happen because he comes on his blind side. And that's why he gets in. And that's why the ball was so good. But the Garner issue for me was brilliant.
Yeah.
Straight away. Not even looking. Straight away. O'Brien. The ball's coming over there. That is brilliant. Is brilliant communication, brilliant play. As the ball goes on, we're offside here at this point. So you got to credit Mount and Bruno and Xerxes because they slowed up, which allowed the 3 Everton defenders to get in front of them, which allowed them to mount the cutback. If you watch, brilliant by Mount. He knew there's no way he could do a first time.
Makes a dummy run and then create space and moves
do a first time ball because you're going to get the old Arsenal.
Yeah,
you're all offside. So, but Bruno should have gone for his left. I don't know. Maybe it was a bit more of a difficult chance.
But for me, I think the main thing that I took from this is Bruno's reaction. Because it tells me that the players don't understand why they do things on the pitch. Even a quality player like Bruno, waving his arms because he didn't get the pass, because they all think it's on them. It's me. I'm the star. They're not making sacrificial runs. They don't understand. But this is where you have a player like Mason Mount. Mason Mount is actually quite clever. He's one of our most intelligent players when it comes to this, finding pockets, finding space, and understanding.
Mason Mount. Yeah. And
but Bruno, again, concentrate on your game. Stop waving your arms, please. Do me a favor.
Did the same. Watch on Bumo. Watch on Bumo. He's got his hands. What the fuck are you doing? Lay it into me. I can turn.
But they don't understand. You don't know the finer arts of the game. How to break down a low block, and it tells me they haven't thought about it. They haven't thought about how controlling the game. What do you do when you play against 2 blocks of 4 or 2 blocks of 4 and 5? They don't have a clue. They don't have a fucking clue. All they did during the game was playing out wide because Everton allowed us, and then keep spamming in crossers to Mikolenko and
again, my question to you, pal. Bruno's 31, 32?
32, I believe. Yeah.
How the fuck has he not learned all the basics and intricacies of football by now? What's he doing? He's been playing football every day.
He plays on instinct and emotions.
Yeah, and that's it. There's your point. He plays on instincts and emotions rather than calmness and intelligence. Totally agree with you, mate. Totally agree with you. My old mate, you've been on top form tonight.
Thank you.
No,
and the
Devilish Tacticos
also. There's so many brilliant comments. Sorry for not bringing you into the debate, Stu.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
A couple of comments and before we wrap up the show, let's do it.
When we get going, don't we, pal?
Yes, we do.
There's a lot of back and forth about I think Helge put a comment in about, they go home in the Porsches, etc., etc. And then a lot of the guys are turning around and saying, well, look, we don't own them off the pitch. We don't own them at all, really. We just expect better of them. Helge's got a point. We know that some of the players are going home and putting the PlayStations on, or or going out and buying 200 grand cars. We know all of this. We know that happens. But they're not showing and demonstrating a die. I'm willing to die attitude. I'm willing to take a punch in the face attitude. It's terrible. So that was quite interesting. Paul Tobin, good to see you, buddy. He's shit, man. He can't run. He can't jump. He's not a goal scorer. He's not a tackler. I've seen him turn and pass a couple of times. He adds nothing. Got to go. Wouldn't disagree with that comment at all, to be honest. No, for me, it comes out with the same bullshit. I'm time. Okay, I don't know what's going on on that one. Trev says there are no players in this team that have the bottle. Absolutely correct, mate. Take the ball by the game. Yes. Game of the balls. All they do is pass the ball to Bruno and say it's now your problem. Absolutely. Trev.
Accountability.
Trev says, Jarvis, the only reason you got a compliment from Stu is because I sent him 20 Revolution. Okay, 20. Trev, I'm more of a 200 kind of guy. You know that. 20. He did. Absolutely brilliant. DJ Superfly guy's been in the chat as well. He said he's not getting the notifications. He mentioned that one of the post comments.
Yes, guys. YouTube. Let's do Paul's comments first, and we can talk a little bit.
I like this comment. Paul says, I'm supporting United since the late 80s. The last 10 years have been painful. I hate that I know that I'm not going to enjoy watching this play. Absolutely, Paul. I hate not being able to celebrate a goal. When will it get good? I don't know. Jarvis, apparently you are up 1-0 against Juve.
Holy macaroni!
Second half.
I'm going to watch the game. That's why I'm stressing a little bit by ending the show. They've just started against Juventus. They play in Boda City, and I think it's like -10 right now. A little bit snow in the air, so I think the Italians don't have a good time.
They won't like it. It's too much snow. DJ Superfly guy just comes and said the players today are not a patch on any of Fergus' teams. Absolutely correct, pal. Great comments as always. Thank you all so much for the super chats. It means a hell of a lot to us.
Thank you, guys.
We're still hurting from last night. We've got a long time till Monday night to try and put it right. So let's see what we can do.
Yeah. And I have to say, it's hard to do this early. Oh, big up City losing Leverkusen. Big up Leverkusen.
Brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yes, but not Ten Hag as manager, but at least they are starting to do better. I just wanted to say, when it comes to the comment from DJ Superfly guy, if you don't get notifications, you have to go out, unsubscribe and subscribe and press that bell again, because YouTube did some updates. They are not apparently sending out, and you gotta after you press that bell, you gotta select every stream, not just preferred, and because there's two different different ways, and then you will get all the notifications. We are trying to do this Tuesday thing a regular thing on the schedule. It will be a little bit of a shorter show, and we will go a little bit earlier for you guys. So hopefully things will be better. We will have more people tuning in. But it's been a brilliant show. Press that notification bell and be sure that it says every stream. Every time we go live. That's just my take on it, because YouTube keeps changing the rules all the time, and we are affected. Small channels. We have Tyrone in the house. Big up, Tyrone. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Tyrone Williams, 1987.
Legend
coming in and say greetings from New York City. It's much warmer over here than I expect. Big up Jarvis, Stu, and the Devilish Tacticals. Big up Tyrone. Big up. Hope you're enjoying the Big Apple. Yes. The Big Apple. So guys, it's been a great show. We will be back not tomorrow night, but Thursday night. Stu and I will be back. We will probably do the Crystal Palace preview for you guys. That will be interesting. We will talk more about the Glasner 5-3-2 formation and how it actually works itself out. And you know, we will probably talk more about the Everton game also and the latest updates. And again, I would just remind you, everybody, that this one happened today. Get your comments in the non-live section after the show. Tell me, do you really want Garner? Is he the right midfielder to bring in this Amarim system? Personally, yes, I would love a player like Garner. But, you know, it's up to you. I want to hear your take on it.
You mentioned him last night, the old mate.
I did. I like him. He has evolved to be one of the better midfielders in the Premier League at the moment. It's my type of player, intelligent and composed. So yes, smash the like, subscribe if this is your first time, and we will see you on the next one. Bye, Stu.
Dear, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Somebody messaged me. Sorry, guys. All the very best.
All the best. Bye.